Let's get it on. Yeah, get it on. Well, let's get it on. Oh, yeah.
something. I do it?
Well, when I'm kissing my love, I feel the blood pumping in my veins. Well, when I'm kissing my love, she's such a tender cinder. Well, with her friendly friend. Oh, she's so good at what she does. All she wanna do is kiss and hug. She got me in love, and I can feel my heart just thumping and a skipping when I'm kissing my love. Well, when I'm kissing my love, I feel the blood pumping in my head. Well, when I'm kissing my love, you know I see a pretty city, all with a million flower beds. Well, she's so good at what she does. All she wanna do is kiss and hug. She got me in love, and I can feel my heart just bumping and a skipping when I'm kissing my love. Well, when I'm kissing my love, put your foot on the rock and get your foot down. Put your foot down. Put your foot on the rock and get your foot down. Put your foot down. Put your foot on the rock and get your foot. Put your foot down. Oh, put your foot on the rock and get your foot down.
Welcome, everybody. That's right, give them applause. So welcome, everybody, to the 2023 annual Boulder Chamber meeting and celebration of leadership. That's right. I'm John Terr, President and CEO of the Boulder Chamber, and I welcome all of you to this annual extravaganza. But before we get started, some housekeeping. So, take out your phones, if you don't mind. It's the last time I'll ask you to take out your phones, all right? And we are going to have a QR code up on the screen. And I'm going to ask all of you who have not already done this, get a little snapshot. This is high-tech chamber activity. Make sure to download it. This is the program for tonight. This is how you keep track of events, see where I screwed up, get all the logos for the sponsors who we love, and just make sure to understand a little bit more about our awardees for tonight. So give everybody a chance to do that. See people, Lori Call, put her phone away. That might be a good sign, okay? So I also just want to make sure that everybody knows that not only do we have the program on there, but we also have access to our new publication, Boulder Chamber Today. Woo! Yeah, thank you. That's a staff member saying, This is a hell of a lot of work. But it is the document of all of the Boulder Chamber's activities throughout the year. And for us, I will speak a little bit and allude a little bit to our work at the Boulder Chamber, but Boulder Chamber Today is the definitive publication for you as members to get a sense of all the work that we do on your behalf on an annual basis. So look forward to that. Get on that QR code and make sure to download that publication. So everybody knows that I'm a goofball at heart, but once a year I get to put on a little bit of serious face for all of you. And I got a few things I want to say, okay? So if you'll bear with me, Chip from downtown said, keep it short, John. I don't know if I can, but here we go. So I'm going to start by asking, do you know why I love being the Boulder Chamber president? Do you really know? Okay. Well, you might think it's because I get to go to more after hours and happy hours than any of you combined, okay? That's right, free beer, free food. But no, it's because I get to talk about this. For the past 10 years plus, it has been my honor to stand in front of groups like this and talk about global impact. I'm referencing the collective global impact of local businesses like the ones we are celebrating tonight, the economy they support, and the community that is their home. This is no hyperbole. The Earth is suffering from devastating impacts from climate change. Eli Feldman and the Conscious Bay team is advancing sustainable agriculture solutions and commercial construction that are a global model. We celebrate that. I'm going to suggest you hold your applause because we've got a lot going on here. So, Rook Capital is addressing the universally knotty challenge of home ownership for middle-income families. We celebrate that. Making sure education opportunity is available to all is critical to addressing global economic equity issues and workforce deficits. Perla Delgado, there you go, she moved. Don't do that to me. And her team at I Have a Dream are models for how a community can meet those challenges, and we celebrate that. Lane Horning, who never saw a problem that he couldn't solve with some damned innovation solution, helped revolutionize the real estate industry with online businesses that put housing opportunity and finance options directly in the hands of struggling home buyers. We celebrate that. Our business leader of the year may not be known to many of you in the audience. Danica Powell is a force who is single-handedly helping to shape Boulder into a community that lives its sustainability and inclusivity values, and we celebrate that. And our Lifetime Achievement Award winner. Well, you know, we talk about Coach Prime, and then there's Chancellor Prime. Chancellor Phil DeStefano has positioned CU Boulder to be a global leader in pioneering research fields as diverse as aerospace, biotech, and photonics, in climate protection, and in directly confronting our diversity, equity, and inclusivity challenges, and we celebrate that. Yes, being Boulder Chamber President, I have the opportunity to help steward a nearly 120 years strong organization in its support of companies and businesses and leaders like that to realize their individual visions, as well as the special honor, like tonight, to pay tribute to them. And at the same time, the Boulder Chamber itself is rising up to meet global challenges. The city that Richard Florida once characterized as the model for creative class community, driving innovation and business success while remaining, get this, affordable to residents and businesses, is suffering from what now he refers to as the new urban crisis. Along with the desirability of our community for residents and businesses comes rising costs and commute challenges. The Boulder Chamber is advancing solutions from successful advocacy for more compact, affordable development to transportation solutions through the work of our own integrated transportation management organization, Boulder Transportation Connections. Yes, this is a global impact that is worth celebrating. With homelessness a national crisis, the Boulder Chamber is stepping into the fold with thoughtful, comprehensive solutions to protect our public spaces, address criminal behavior, yet compassionately meet the needs of our unhoused population. We can all celebrate that vision. And when the world looks to our community, there are periods and incidents that might lead them to believe we have lost our way with respect to a commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion goals. Far from it. We feel the pain to our core when someone in our community or anywhere else is assaulted, mistreated, or otherwise denied access to equal opportunities. I don't know why I get so emotional in these things. Opportunities on the basis of race, age, religion, ethnicity, or sexual orientation. That is why the Boulder Chamber is committed to a DE&I journey in partnership with our local government leaders and organizations like Out Boulder County, the Community Foundation, Impact on Education, I Have a Dream, the Latino Chamber, Visit Boulder, Downtown Boulder, and the NAACP, to name a few, to fight the scourge of discrimination and to make sure that everyone in our community is treated with dignity, respect, equal opportunity, and justice. Yes, at the Boulder Chamber, we talk about building community through business. That means our support of local businesses and our approach to economic vitality are aligned with values that strengthen our entire community. We also recognize that in Boulder, our innovative spirit, our relatively small size, and our resources give us that unique opportunity to experiment and test solutions that can later serve as models for other communities, large and small, to follow. Models to address the world's most difficult challenges. At the same time, we have the responsibility to do things that other communities, without the generous resources, have the opportunity to follow. And we don't do this on our own. It starts with so many of you, our for-profit and nonprofit member businesses and organizations. Your investment in the Boulder Chamber fuels our business support, advocacy, and economic vitality mission. On this occasion, which also serves as our annual meeting, I celebrate and honor all of you. It also takes elected leaders and civic administrators who have the courage and conviction to partner with their business community to solve the global challenges with local solutions. We are fortunate to have many of them in the audience with us here tonight, in no particular order, and I know some are on their way. One has a sick kid, that kind of thing. State Representative Judy Amabile, Boulder County Commissioner Claire Levy and Marta Locheman, City of Boulder Mayor Aaron Brockett, City Manager Nuria Rivera Vandermeide, excuse me, She's not here, so she's coming, so don't tell her I said that. District Attorney Michael Doherty, Boulder County Sheriff Curtis Johnson, Boulder County Treasurer Paul Weissman, and leading us at the national level, Congressman Joe Neguse. Those who are here already, please rise to be recognized. It also takes a board of directors with a shared vision and equal passion for tackling business and community needs, and yet firm control on the reins of their exuberant CEO. Many I know are in the room with us tonight, led by our board officers, Chair Kate Brown and Vice Chair Dennis Paul, along with board directors Trent Bush, Lori Call, Scott Green, Bob Gaddis, and Danica Powell. And we also have our alumni board, directors Doyle Albee, Susan Graff, Ted Rockwell, Aparna Harris, and Phil DeStefano. Please rise to be recognized. And then it takes a staff team, a hardworking, strategic, and committed group of individuals who I have the privilege of working with every day, to turn the vision and the partnership into policy initiatives and programs that are the model that you expect from our community. I know they agreed to forego seats for our guests tonight because hospitality is one of their characteristics. But they are around here, and I ask them to please stand and be recognized. Yes, it takes all of us working collaboratively, thinking creatively, and collectively putting our shoulder to the wheel to get the job done. The job done for our local community and for the world that stretches far beyond our borders. And when the Boulder Chamber cites its long-term tagline, "We build community through business," you can know that we are deeply committed to advancing goals for this community using the strength, creativity, innovation of our for-profit and nonprofit business leadership. At the same time, we also know that we operate in a much wider sphere, literally a sphere. We have the eyes of the world on us here in Boulder, and we need to get it right for our collective long-term future. The leaders we honor tonight demonstrate that we can and will be that model for solutions to the world's greatest challenges. And that's really why I love being Boulder Chamber President. And it's what I hope all of you love about our partnership and building a strong community through business. So let's celebrate all of that. Thank you for bearing with me. And now we get to bring to the stage my good friends and partners, Scott Sternberg, Associate Vice President for Economic Vitality and Economic Council Executive Director, and Scott Furley, our Director of Member Relations.
John, when going over the script, I didn't quite put 2 and 2 together that we'd be following you. We got a lot to live up here. Good evening, everyone. I'm Scott Furley, Boulder Chamber's Director of Member Relations. Really excited to be here today in a full house in a beautiful venue, the Dairy Arts Center. Thank you for hosting us this evening. Let's give a round of applause for Dairy Arts Center. It's now my privilege to thank our sponsors, who recognize the importance of the Boulder Chamber's events and programs like Celebration of Leadership, and enable us financially to serve and support our members and community. As sponsors, these businesses are investing in the Boulder Chamber's mission of building community through business. I'm going to kindly ask that you hold the applause till we get through all the sponsors, and I want a big round of applause because I work with these companies all the time, and they're just amazing organizations. First, our presenting sponsor, FNBO. Thank you so much for being our presenting sponsor of this event for many, many years. Our community sponsor, Elevations Credit Union. Our connections sponsor, Blue Federal Credit Union, Celestial Seasonings, Rule 4, CU Boulder, WW Reynolds Companies, and our media sponsors, which we'll probably be reading about after this event, Biz West and Daily Camera. So get a huge round of applause for our sponsors. You're up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Scott Sternberg. As John said, I'm the Executive Director of the Boulder Economic Council. And just to riff off of what John said, do you know why I love this job? It's not the 2 drink coupons I get everywhere I go. It's because I get to work with John Taylor. It's my job tonight to recognize our standing strong members. The Boulder Chamber works hard to bring our community together through a shared voice, common goals, and the drive to move forward. This community is our foundation, and we need leaders like you to stand strong with us. We would like to recognize those companies that stand strong with the Boulder Chamber and are vital to the success of our programs, including membership, advocacy, economic vitality, and most recently, the Boulder Transportation Connections. I'd like to begin by recognizing on this slide those companies at the Chautauqua level, which represent companies that are either elite partner members at the Chamber or are BEC investors. Let's join me in thanking all of these sponsors. And now, in ascending orders of the 3 most iconic peaks in the Boulder area, we would like to recognize our Sanitas standing strong levels, and I ask you to please hold your applause for the very end. Those companies that stand strong with the Boulder Chamber at the Sanitas level are either president partner members or companies that are elite partners and are Boulder Economic Council investors. Those organizations are Altman Consulting, LLC, Amazon, Ball Aerospace, Biomed Realty, BizWest, BOK Financial, Boulder Community Health, Boulder Medical Center, Celestial Seasonings, Cigna, Conscious Bay Company, Daily Camera, FNBO, Fowler Automotive, Google Incorporated, IBM Corporation, In Tandem HR, Kaiser Permanente, KBI Biopharma, Meta, Facebook and Instagram, MidFirst Bank, Plant Moran, Tebow Properties, 29th Street Mall, Twitter Incorporated, Warner Pacific Insurance Services, and lastly, but only by alphabetical order, Excel Energy. Thank you all for your sponsorship. And for those of you who have either hiked up or ridden their bike up Flagstaff, you'll know that this is the tallest peak and represents our largest and our highest level of sponsorship for our Standing Strong membership. Our Flagstaff level companies support our economic vitality, advocacy, and the member services program at the highest level as president partner members and BEC or Strategy Council Boulder Together investors. We would like to recognize both the company and the individuals that engage with us on a regular basis to ensure the success of this program. First and foremost, we would like to mention Berg Hill, Greenleaf, and Rashidi, and my personal friend and our director of our executive committee of the Boulder Economic Council, Giovanni Rusciti, founding member and managing partner.
I'm back. Blue Federal Credit Union. I'd like to recognize Ty Montgomery, also I would think a personal friend, business development specialist, Denver Metro Region.
I'd like to recognize Corden Pharma, Karma, maybe, Corden Pharma, Colorado, Deborah Capra, Director of Human Resources, Environmental Health and Safety, and Business Services. Thank you.
Let's see. I'm All right, I guess I got to go first. I was waiting for Dennis to pop up. Elevations Credit Union, Dennis Paul, there he is. Round of applause. Vice President of Community Affairs.
Premier Members Credit Union, Jeffrey Cash, Associate Vice President of Community Relations. Thank you so much.
All right, Terrapin Care Station, Chris Woods, founder, CEO, and president.
The WW Reynolds Companies, Bill Reynolds, founder.
And again, just last by alphabetical order, but Lori. So University of Colorado Boulder, Lori Call, Assistant Vice Chancellor for Local Government and Community Engagement.
So I'm just going to close with a fact. This is the first standing room only Boulder Chamber event that we've had after the pandemic. We are really happy for all of you. Thank you so much for your support, and thank all of our sponsors.
All right, and with that, let's get the festivities started. Yeah, that's the symbol, and because our congressman's here. Okay, festivities started. I want to introduce our musical performers. You already heard about them, but they are pretty amazing. Let me just give you a sense of them. So, they're from our local backyard here in Boulder, but they've played the hallowed halls of musical halls. But also dark alleys where some random harmonica person is playing. Whether it's rock, rap, blues, country, freestyle, jams, that's my thing, jazz, I quote, they are music freaks who love it all. You can find their live performance album from Boulder Theater and from The Post on Spotify, iTunes, and other platforms. And they currently play regularly at the St. Julian, the Trident, and other local venues. Please welcome to the stage, in the guitar and vocals, Russ Grabsky, Chris Alamo at keys, and Jeff Lyons on drums and backup vocals. They are Acoustic Ambush.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. It's true we played in the back alleys of Boulder and those dark, hallowed halls. Sometimes I write a little song, so I won't forget it. Sometimes I write a little song, so I won't regret it. Lord, sometimes I write a little song just to remember the lyrics. What you talking about? 1612. That's the code of my heart. Got the 1, 6, got the 1, 2. Well, that's a winning hand. I got 1612. 1612. That's the code of my heart. I got the 1, 6, got the 1, 2. Winning hand. Aquarius, driving out for Taurus, or strike on the back, you know it's a Ford Focus. Well, sometimes I write a little song.
Frank Sinatra, what?
1612, that's the code to my heart. I got the 1, 6, got the 1. Well, that's a winning hand. I got a 1612, that's the code to my heart. I got the 1, 6, 1, 2. That's a winning. This is like the jazz section, I guess. sometimes I write a little song, so I won't forget it. Lord, sometimes I write a little song, so I won't regret it. Hey, sometimes I write a little song.
Just to remember the lyrics, what you talking about?
1612. That's the code to my heart. Got the 1, 6, 1, 2. That's a winning hand. I got a 1612. That's the code to my heart. I got the 1, 6, 1, 2. Well, that's a winning hand. I got a 1612. That's the code to my heart. I got a 1, 6, 1, 2. That's a winning hand. I got a 1612. That's the code to my heart. I got the 1, 6, 1, 2. Winning hand. There's no one. That's it. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for Acoustic Ambush.
Acoustic Ambush, welcome. Woo! This is the first time we're going to have our award winners welcome to the stage with live music, so excited about that. So to kick off our festivities, our great friends at FNBO, Gallagher Ring is going to come up to the stage, give us a few little words of encouragement. He's the Director of Commercial Banking for FNBO. Come on up, Gallagher.
Let's do it.
I couldn't reach that high.
That's right, let's do it. All right, good evening and welcome. First of all, thank you to the Boulder Chamber and staff for hosting this exceptional annual event, highlighting some of Boulder County's best, celebrating leadership, integrity, innovation, and collaboration. FNBO is proud to be the presenting sponsor of this signature event, and we want to congratulate all of tonight's incredible honorees, all deserving of the recognition and celebration. My name is Gallagher Ring, Director, Community Banking with FNBO here in the Boulder market. At FNBO, we believe banking is about building strong communities, and our longtime partnership with the Boulder Chamber is one way that we celebrate this particular community here in Boulder. As the Great Big Small Bank, our purpose is to improve the financial well-being of our customers and ensure the success of all the communities across our 8-state footprint, especially here in Boulder County. We firmly believe that for a community to be strong, every individual must have the resources and opportunities to succeed. Every facet of our business is focused on financial well-being, and that focus drives how we serve our customers to help them achieve their goals. As an independent, 6th-generation, family-owned business, FNBO is focused on the long run instead of next quarter. We recently celebrated our 165th anniversary. Woo! Yeah, round of applause. And we look forward to serving our customers and clients well into the future. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
It's good to have a big guy representing a big and small bank. That's what I say. Gallagher Ring, thank you so much. I also note that in this day, some of our banking institutions, so proud to have them as partners with us, FNBO and the others who've been represented tonight, knowing how critical it is to have solid banking institutions that drive business success. And with that, we think about the businesses that depend on support from our financial institutions, and it's often the entrepreneurs who are just getting started, who need to have the support, the financial support and backing, but they're the ones who are taking the risks. And our first honoree tonight to be recognized is our Entrepreneur of the Year, somebody who, as I alluded to earlier, just has it in his veins. And somebody who's going to introduce him probably needs no introduction. I will start by saying he's pretty good. Some might say he's great. So I have the pleasure and honor of bringing to the stage Mr. Jim Collins.
Well, good evening. You know, it's just interesting. I was thinking, I'm a Boulder native, and the last time that I had the privilege to be in this room, it actually was a dairy. I just want to share with you some thoughts about Lane, and it's a real privilege to be able to share him with you. And I've called down to two main things I want to share, two aspects of Lane. The first is service, then success. I first met Lane in the late 1990s or mid-1990s, and I was just starting the research for what would become the book Good to Great. And I needed some high-octane young researchers, people who would be willing to death march and really bring their brains. And I went up to the university and I said, to the business school, I need one or two of your absolute very best students. And they said, well, you need to get acquainted with this young man, Lane. And I looked at his resume, and the first thing that caught my attention, of course, was his academic credentials were superb, and I was struck by his engineering degree from Stanford. But then what really hit me was what he did immediately after graduating from Stanford. Now, you got a picture. He's graduating in the late 1980s with an engineering degree in the middle of Silicon Valley, just as the whole tech boom is about to completely take off. And what does Lane decide to do? He doesn't go to the next hot startup. He doesn't join McKinsey & Company. He doesn't go to a venture capital firm. He doesn't join big tech. He goes to the United States Marine Corps, where he became a Cobra helicopter, attack helicopter pilot, and a Gulf War veteran. Lane embodies an ethic, in all the years I've known him, of service comes first. It's not this idea of like, what I'll do is I'll become successful, and then I'll figure out how to be of service. Lane's whole approach to life is to invert it. I figure out how to be of service, and along the way, maybe some success will happen. And this is carried forth into his business career. My wife, Joanne, and I have a real connection with a thing called Greenhouse Scholars in our community, which helps inflection point kids from difficult backgrounds get a shot to become leaders in our world. And what got us into it was Lane was involved with it, right? If Lane was involved with it, we knew it was a good thing. And the interesting thing is that if you look at the history of it, Lane's enduring support as a board member, as an advisor, with the full support of 8Z, a company he founded, didn't come once 8Z was successful. It came when 8Z was a raw startup, all the way along, and is carried through in other forms of service that Lane has rendered. There's lots of ways to be lucky in life. I believe one of the best ways to be lucky is who luck, the luck of a great person that crosses your path and affects your life. And Lane is one of my great strokes of who luck in this world. I did get Lane to join my team, and in fact, he proudly carries number 001 in a long line of great, wonderful young people that have served on our research team. And then in one of those wonderful circles of life, in the last few years, his son, Gage, joined the research team. So I got a 2-for who luck out of that. Second point I want to make about Lane, to share him with you. Built to last with great people. There is a split in the entrepreneurial community, and it's growing increasingly into a giant chasm. It's been there for a number of decades. And the split is that there are built-to-last entrepreneurs, and there are built-to-flip entrepreneurs. And the real question is, which side are you on? Lane has been clear from the very beginning, from the moment I met him, that he's on the built to last side. He doesn't manage for the quarter, he manages for the quarter century. And in building his companies, he wants to build a company that can last, that can endure, but not only is a company that could be just built to last, but one that is truly worthy of lasting. And it is worthy of lasting because it's built with incredible people. Lane embraced the idea, great vision without great people is irrelevant. And the wonderful, amazing team at 8Z, that's the secret sauce. The technologies are great, the business models are great, but it's the people. 180 agents, 12 offices, and that flywheel just continues to build ever more momentum. And then beyond that, all the way along, being a pioneer in advancing technology accelerators that advance the way the entire industry flywheel turns. So, as I close up, I have one closing thought about Lane. I took a philosophy class once where the professor posed a wonderful question. Which would you rather have? An enviable life or an admirable life? Lane has created enviable success. And we celebrate that here this evening. But to me, the biggest thing, truly, is that, Lane, you have chosen to build an admirable life. And to build your companies in an admirable way. I, Jim, have admired you ever since I've met you for what you did before I met you and for what you've done in everything since. And that has only continued to grow. Please come up here and allow all of us to express our admiration and our respect for you.
I've had a couple surprises today. My son showed up from San Francisco. And Jim showed up. Because that was a surprise. And both are amazingly pleasant surprises. Thank you to both of you. It's interesting. I'm not going to change my speech based on what Jim just shared, because I think it's interesting. I didn't know he was going to be here, and so of course some of the things he said in his speech are in mine. I spent a lot of time with Jim, maybe too much, as a research assistant, but it had a huge impact on me, and I'm honored to receive this award. You know, what makes it special for me is we're not in Poughkeepsie, we're not in Scranton, we're in Boulder, frickin' Colorado. And Boulder, Colorado has one of the most amazing entrepreneurial ecosystems on the planet. There's entrepreneurs in this room, nonprofit leaders who've helped build this ecosystem. John and the Chamber have played a huge role in it. It's not by accident. And so entrepreneurship, fancy word, there's some mythology around it, around that word. There's the image of the solo person risking it all. The lone cowboy, cowgirl riding the range. That's sort of the myth. But I think the reality is entrepreneurship is not a one-woman band. It's a team sport. And it's about rallying people around you, rallying others to join you, to believe when sometimes they shouldn't, and to come together to build not great businesses, but actually great organizations made of great people. I told you I drank a lot of Jim's Kool-Aid. So, I think the biggest risk you take as an entrepreneur is not financial, it's not money, it's the risk to the relationships with those people. That's what I've learned is the biggest risk of entrepreneurship. Because at its core, entrepreneurship is more about people than business. I told you I wasn't changing the speech. As Jim Collins told me back in grad school, first get the right people in the right seats on the bus. So I want to acknowledge and thank the people who got on the bus with me. They played pivotal roles in my entrepreneurial journey, and I just want to acknowledge and recognize them. First, he can't be here tonight, but he's a past president of this organization. He's also a past director of the Entrepreneurship Center at CU, Dennis Knock, who mentored me back in grad school and mentors me to this day. Thank you, Dennis. Jim Collins, who mentored me from back in grad school to this day. Stephen Peterson, my co-founder at Zavvi. We've worked together 20 years in different companies. Ryan Carter, the president of 8Z Real Estate. All these folks are here tonight. Thank you. Ariel Solomon, a pillar of this community and a partner of mine at 8Z Mortgage. Michael Sherman, my partner at 8Z Title. Forrest Noble, my partner at 8Z Rentals. Heidi Fawn, who co-founded the nonprofit Salute Colorado with me. My father, Al. My stepmother, Carla. And really my ultimate partner, my partner for life, my wife, Carolyn. Thank you to all of you. So one last thought for all the entrepreneurs, all the nonprofit leaders out there, all the business leaders, hire a veteran. You will not be disappointed.
Lane.
Congratulations.
Awesome. Our next award is the Rising Star, and Rising Star is about somebody who has already had an impact on our community, but we know that there is no bounds to the direction they're headed and the impact that they will have ultimately in their career. I will say that, as you're getting a sense, the folks who introduce our honorees tonight are somewhat of a surprise to the folks who are being honored. And I will say that not many of them had a fight over who wanted to actually make this introduction, but John Ricotta, who is the chair of the I Have a Dream board and executive vice president at First Bank, won that prize. So come on down, John Ricotta.
Thank you, John. No one told me I was going to be following Jim Collins to be introducing someone, so I'm not sure how I can live up to that, but we'll give it a try. Anyways, good evening. As John mentioned, my name is John Ricotta, and I have the privilege of introducing our 2023 Rising Star, Dr. Perla Delgado, the CEO and Executive Director of the I Have a Dream Foundation of Boulder County. As a board member and chair for I Have a Dream, I had the honor of working with Perla. She has a passion for education and for serving our community that she's in. As a local high school student, she was advocating for education equality and social justice. She later was employed at the Emergency Family Assistance and Community Action Programs in Boulder, and prior to joining I Have a Dream, she served as the Director for College Assistance and Migrant Programs at St. Edward's University in Austin, Texas. All this while obtaining her PhD in education from Texas State University. Perla, a Boulder County native, took over the role of CEO and Executive Director for I Have a Dream back in August of 2020. Think about that, 2020. In the heart of COVID, Perla moved her family back to Boulder to run a large, well-respected nonprofit, and what can I say? She did an absolutely amazing job. She is steady, thoughtful, compassionate, and deeply wise. She holds the lived experience of our Dreamer Scholars that we serve by being a first-generation Latina college graduate. She has helped I Have a Dream become a leader in Boulder by helping our community see our student population for their strengths, their richness, and what they're able to bring to Boulder, and not simply as recipients of our services. We could not have asked for a better fit for organization in our community, and I'm thrilled that everyone now gets to see what we at I Have a Dream have seen for the past 2.5 years. She is truly a star. If all this wasn't enough, she gives back to our community, and she's the vice chair of the board for the Modus Theater, a local nonprofit helping underserved populations share their stories of struggle and resilience. I'm not sure she finds the time or energy, but Boulder is lucky to have her. Please join me in celebrating and welcoming to the stage Boulder Chamber's 2023 Rising Star recipient, Dr. Pullo Delgado, CEO of I Have a Dream.
I'm going to set this down because if you attended our luncheon, you know that I'm not very good with things on the podium. Here, hold on. Oh, okay, perfect. Buenas tardes, good afternoon. I feel like I should be a little bit taller given the speakers that we've had previously, so sorry for my shortness, but thank you, John, for such a beautiful introduction. It's such an honor and privilege to be selected as the 2023 Rising Leader. I'm part of the Latino community, a community that has contributed to the economic boom in Boulder, that has experienced so much growth in the past decade. My family and I arrived in the early 80s with a dream to build a pathway and opportunities not just for each other, but for everyone who looked and had similar experiences like ours. We were part of the many families who arrived in the 80s who continue to call this area home. It is truly an honor to receive this award this evening. A first for my family and one of many for the Latino community whose leadership and work has long been a part of building this beautiful community we call home. First, I want to recognize my parents, Ms. Cristina and Eduardo Delgado, who are in attendance this evening, for their limitless love and encouragement throughout this journey. Gracias por su apoyo, amor y liderazgo. No estaría aquí sin su esfuerzo. Hay que echarle ganas. Sorry. To my husband, Jose, whom I fall in love with more every day. His unwavering support and love throughout this journey has been without a doubt one of the biggest blessings in my life. Muchísimas gracias. To my daughters, Bianca and Paloma, who are two amazing young leaders, I feel so honored to be your mother. I'm sorry for my quest to serve the community has often created an absence in your life. Please know that everything I do is my intention to build a better community for you and for so many others like us. And to my two sisters who are guerreras, warriors, I can't be standing here without you. I love you. And to the comadres, mentors, and colleagues, and so many other people who provide a circle of guidance as I navigate this space, I am infinitely grateful that you have an ear to listen and a heart to guide me through the many experiences. I feel so honored to serve as a leader of the I Have a Dream Foundation. I want to thank the amazing staff and volunteers who deliver our mission every day. I especially want to thank those in attendance, Ileana, Bill, and Stacy. Thank you for your vision, expertise, and leadership. Your energy, your drive, and commitment to our mission and innovative ideas is contagious, and this work can't be done without you. To the IHDF Board of Directors, especially Jim, John, Jason, and Jackie, yes, if you have a J name, join our board. It's not a requirement, though, but definitely makes it fun. Thank you for your leadership and for the support that you've given me. And last, I promise this is the last thank you. Thank you to John Taylor and the Chamber for continuing to be leaders in this community and for creating this space. It's admirable what you have done in the past decade. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and this recognition. I'd like to finish with the following. The work we have done alongside dreamers and scholars and their families for over 30 years has been in part contributed to the Chamber's goal of establishing Boulder as a booming metropolis and the best place to live and work for all. The scholars and their families are leaders, business owners, and members of this community who have contributed to the success that we have all experienced. And I want to recognize their commitment to our mission and our work. Despite the challenges we have encountered locally and globally, there are so many successes that we've seen, and it has been the result of our community coming together. The commitment to inclusiveness can't be done without each of you. Your volunteerism, your donations, and expertise, as well as willingness to learn about our differences, helps not only the I Have a Dream Foundation, but so many other nonprofits as we work in and with the communities to create a vibrant community for all. Please continue to support our local nonprofits. We are partners in this work. We are partners in building a better global community for all. And thank you so very much for this recognition.
We now welcome to the stage the woman who put this whole darn thing together, our Director of Marketing and Events. Oh, excuse me. Correction, our next, that was our Director of Marketing and Events telling me that I'd screwed up. So our next award winner is our Innovative Business of the Year. And to introduce that honor is somebody in our community recently elected, and elected because she understands the importance of housing to make sure that we remain a vital and entrepreneurial community. So I welcome to the stage Commissioner Marta Locheman.
I'm just going to say, I asked, can I sit in the front row? Buenas tardes and good evening. Boulder County and the state of Colorado have been facing a housing crisis for many years, and it's true what John just shared. I've been in the real estate industry in different capacities for 24 years, so I've seen it in a very intimate way. So many factors have hit us, starting with the mortgage crisis in the mid-2000s, economic recession, construction defect laws issues in Colorado, natural disasters of the 2013 flood, and the Marshall Fire of 2021. And the current concerns globally of a war, newly failing banks in the United States, inflation and other supply issues, and labor shortages still lingering from COVID-19. Housing is an issue that requires innovation of ideas, of policies, and people. In fact, last spring, Boulder County, on a local level, polled our community about the top pressing concerns for residents. Access to affordable housing was the top priority, the top response by those who responded to the survey. Housing is an issue we must work collaboratively to solve. Tonight, we are celebrating our Innovative Business of the Year. This awardee has created a unique platform that both addresses housing, affordability, and invites community-based investors to co-invest with home buyers. They created a shared value investment that partners with local banks and credit unions, starting with First Bank and the Blue Federal Credit Union. The shared value investment program provides between 10 to 25% of the purchase of a home in exchange for equity in a property. There are no payments on the shared value investment for 10 years, which lowers the amount of being financed and thus lowering the initial payment for a buyer and creating access. This innovative business then pools these shared value investments into a city pool and allows local investors, employers, and individuals, which I learned outside earlier, is also considered family offices, which is family foundations, to invest in these products on a fractional basis. This platform brings home buyers and the community into partnership, solving two important issues of housing accessibility simultaneously. Number one, creating a new and affordable path to homeownership. And number two, allowing more investors to access the single-family asset class. We are lucky to have innovative folks willing to build solutions to our local needs through business savviness and fabulous leadership. It is my honor to present the 2023 Boulder Chamber Innovative Business of the Year Award to Rook Capital. And to receive the award, please welcome Ed Messman, Rook Capital's CEO.
Cool, awesome. Well, good evening. I stand here on behalf of myself and my co-founder, Kevin Colley, right over here. And we're thankful to you and the Boulder Chamber for this award. I would like to recognize the Rook Capital team, which many of them are here in the audience. Thank you for being part of the team and joining the ride. And also many of our investors and partners that are also in the audience here, so thank you. When my wife and I moved to Boulder in 1997, I remember to this day, my wife is in the audience as well, and she may or may not remember this, but we were driving up 36 to Boulder. We hadn't quite hit the McCaslin exit yet. And I remember looking to we're moving from California, sunny, colorful California. I remember looking to my left and seeing a string of these new developments that were being built. And it is now Superior Rock Creek, and thinking to myself, and I think I even said it out loud, who would live in the suburbs when you've got Boulder, right? And we crest over Boulder, and you know that view I'm talking about. You crest over Boulder, and you're like, oh, this is going to be excellent. And we arrived at a place, a little Victorian home on 16th and Spruce, and we got to taste all the great things that downtown Boulder has to offer. A year later, we moved out to Louisville, and we bought our first home. It was a 1,500 square foot home. And we scrimped and saved $25,000 to put down, and it was a $179,000 home. Starter home, nothing special. We made it our home, but we had our first two kids there, and we raised them until we were expecting our third. And guess what? We need a little bit more space. So guess where we moved 5 years later? To Rock Creek. And it's been sublime ever since, with Costco and Target close by. But we settled into Rock Creek, and we raised our three kids. They enjoyed Superior Elementary, Monarch High School, and we just built this great relationship with our neighborhood and the community around it. And that, I look back, now I'm 52, and my kids were almost empty nesters. I look back on that home in Louisville, and that home, that starter home, is $620,000, okay? And that's the realtors in the room probably say that's a deal in Louisville. And you think about, how are your kids going to buy a home in this market? Our mortgage at the time was $1,200, and I thought that was a lot. And now that same mortgage, if you just did the math, it's $4,400. So Kevin and I created Rook for our 29-year-old selves, and the daunting reality of them buying their first home. But it's not just for that generation, it's for anyone that finds themselves facing the reality of buying a home in this market. I won't talk about interest rates, but I will talk about home prices. Home prices are at a point to where interest rates just make it that much more challenging. And so we thought about this idea of how do you help a home buyer get into the home by creating an affordable payment for them that gives them financial margin in their life so they can live their life and not be, what's the term, house poor, and cash poor. Yeah.
House rich.
House rich, yeah, but, and actually it's house poor and cash poor. And so we created this instrument, we call it the shared value investment, because it's sharing in the value of an investment. And the uniqueness is that we work with partners, great partners, many of which are here and have been talked about earlier, including realtor partners as well. And we invite the communities that we operate in to be participants in solving the problem. And we do that by pooling these things together and allowing you all, businesses, foundations, individuals, to invest in this pool. And that pool exists for the sole purpose of helping families move back into the communities to raise their families, just like my wife and I did with our 3 kids. And so it is a daunting challenge. Housing finance is mired with all kinds of regulation and compliance. But we're proud, the team at Rook are proud to work on this innovation. Innovation is hard. It takes risk, it takes commitment, it takes conviction, and in these times, it takes grit. And we think about our kids. That's what keeps us anchored. We think about our kids starting their own families, and they're not quite there yet to buy a home, but it's coming. And there's 20 million of those millennials that are in their prime homeownership buying years, and we think about them, and we think about them starting their families, and so we are super grateful to be honored here today on behalf of Rook Capital, our investors and our partners. Thank you, and we appreciate the recognition.
Keep the focus, Eric. Okay, so back on script. Welcome to the microphone again, our marketing and events director, Maya Cordero.
Good evening. This year, the Boulder Chamber staff team added one more category to this annual leadership celebration. As John mentioned earlier, the Boulder Chamber is committed to building community through business. The work of our staff team is also possible because of the great collaboration with volunteers and partners. Tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce the Chamber Champion Award, a special recognition to an individual that always goes above and beyond their volunteer role. Our 2023 Chamber Champion is a large reason for the re-engagement success of the Ambassador Program. As you know, the ambassadors are the Chamber member volunteers. They provide outreach to new and prospective members by welcoming them into the community and assisting in their navigation of Boulder Chamber services. Ambassadors also play a key member support role at our monthly events and have quarterly networking events in the business community. So, she's an ambassador. She's also a super rock star. She supports the chamber. She helps new members navigate our events and organization. She refers people to the organization. She shows leadership and mentorship through the Business Women's Leadership Group. And if you have been to any Boulder Chamber event, most likely you have seen her smiley face. And she's here with us tonight. So please help me welcome to the stage a true chamber champion, Debbie Richards.
Speechless was her speech. Okay, we've talked a lot about, yes, absolutely. So we've talked a lot about impact tonight, global impact, local solutions. Well, we're fortunate to have in the audience somebody who no doubt is having an impact on our global future in his role as our U.S. representative. We are so honored to have him here with us tonight. Congressman Joe Neguse.
Well, good evening, everyone. What an honor to be here this evening and to celebrate some truly remarkable members of the Boulder, not just business community, but the Boulder community. For more than 40 years now, the Boulder Chamber has worked to foster a robust and innovation-driven local economy. You've heard that discussed this evening. From small businesses and startups to larger research institutions and more, Boulder is home, as it was so well articulated prior to my remarks, to this unique ecosystem that really is the envy of the world, the entrepreneurs, the innovators that call Boulder home, the inspiring community and business leaders who are a part of this eclectic city of Boulder. And we have to thank for that ecosystem the work of the Boulder Chamber, of people like John Taylor and the incredible management team at the Chamber. We should give them a warm round of applause for all of their hard work. Now, I wanted to be here this evening because as I was perusing through this year's list of award recipients, I was taken aback by just the sheer volume of work that they have done to make this community a better place. One of my favorite quotes is from Desmond Tutu. And actually, it connects real well to one of tonight's award recipients. Desmond Tutu, some of you may remember, I've lived in Boulder County. I, like others, moved to the suburbs. We live in Indian Peaks in Lafayette, where my wife and I are raising our daughter, and we're expecting our second child in May, which we're very excited about. So it's busy in the Neguse household. But Desmond Tutu spoke at the University of Colorado about 20 years ago. I remember really well. I was a sophomore at CU Boulder. And one of my favorite quotes of his is that we all should do goodness, do an act of goodness where we are. And in total, together, those acts will overwhelm the world. And as I think about every one of the award recipients who have already spoken tonight and others who will be speaking shortly, I think about the acts of goodness that they have done where they are, right here in Boulder, Colorado. And I couldn't be more proud to call this community home in light of the contributions that they have made. So to Danica Powell, the Virginia Patterson Business Leader of the Year, to, of course, the Rising Star Award winner, Perla Delgado, to the Innovative Business of the Year, Rook Capital, to the Entrepreneur of the Year Award winner, Lane Hornug, and to the Franny Reich Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Philip DeStefano, and, of course, the Impact Award for Conscious Bay. And I know we're going to hear from every one of those award winners tonight. I say thank you, and I couldn't be more honored to present to you an award of congressional recognition in light of the contributions you've made to this community. Now, I have one point of personal privilege with one of those award winners, and that's Phil DeStefano. Am I getting ahead of him, the award, announcing him as the award recipient?
People have heard it already.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure, clearly, leave it to the congressman to completely mess that up. Chancellor DeStefano and I met for the first time 20 years ago. When I was a freshman at the University of Colorado, he was the provost. A lot has changed. He had a lot more hair back then, or he had some hair back then. I had less gray hair. I was very young. And, I was very involved in student government, working with then Provost DeStefano. Now, the good news for administrators is that students eventually leave. They graduate and they get out of your hair. So you could imagine his dismay that upon graduating from the University of Colorado as an undergrad, I returned a year later to go to the law school and showed up at his door, and he was chancellor at that time. He thought, okay, of course, Joe's only going to be around for a couple of years for law school, and then he'll be out of my hair. He was wrong, because I was elected to the Board of Regents while he was chancellor, and served for 6 years and was able to work really closely with him in that capacity. And then finally my term ended was practicing law at Holland and Hart here in Boulder and in Denver, and I am sure Phil thought, finally, Joe is gone. And then I got elected to Congress. So the moral of the story is that I don't intend to retire until Phil DeStefano retires at the University of Colorado. And I say that because there are few people who have had a more impactful, meaningful impact on my life than Phil DeStefano. Having worked with him for the last 20 years, going back to the earliest days as a student, and to see the contributions that he has made to this incredible institution that we have here in our backyard that has played such a pivotal role in my life and in the life of so many folks that I know are affiliated with the Chamber. He has been an incredible leader at the University of Colorado, and we are so lucky that he has chosen to give so much of himself, and I should say his better half, Yvonne, who I know is here tonight as well, to the university and to this incredible community that we all call home. Now, I have some level of resentment because he waited 20 years until I was off the Board of Regents and out of student government and gone from the school to hire Coach Prime. And so, of course, now I'm left cheering the football team from the sidelines. But I couldn't be more grateful to him and to all of the award winners because I think they represent best that reflection that I offered from Desmond Tutu. At the end of the day, a community is nothing more than the sum of its parts. And boy, do we have some phenomenal, phenomenal parts here in Boulder, and we have the Chamber and these wonderful business leaders to thank for it. So thank you again for letting me be a part of the program. I appreciate it.
How privileged are we to be represented by this man? And I note that special congressional recognition for all the award winners from our congressmen. So I'll just put them right here, but thank you. And so perfect segue to our Impact Award winner, recognizing that we have business leaders in this community who are certainly focused on business success, but in their way of approaching that business success are a model for how we want to sustain a strong, healthy, vibrant community. Now, I will leave it to somebody else to make that introduction, and I will say there's one person tonight who I have a little trepidation about in their introduction, and that is my former law school roommate, Fritz Holloman, who assured me that he will keep the stories about the honoree. I welcome to the stage Fritz Holloman, partner at Bouchon Holloman.
Thank you, John. I have the goods, but I'm not going to share them with anybody tonight. What an honor to be here. And out of my element in the business community. I'm a water lawyer here in Boulder, and it's very nice to be here. I last came to this event about 20 years ago when John got an award, and it's nice to be back. To introduce Conscience Bay, I need to tell a little story. Just 12 months ago, the future of Boulder Junction was in jeopardy. Despite an area plan approved in 2007 that called for a vibrant, mixed-use, and transit-oriented development with more than 1,000 units of new affordable and workforce housing, the second phase of the Transit Village Area Plan was stalled. The years-long delay in implementing the next phase of that development was exacerbated by the COVID-related closure of the RTD station at Boulder Junction. RTD had invested $500 million in what was to be a strategically located transit center to maximize ridership, reduce single-car occupancy, and also reduce the related CO2 emissions. When RTD shuttered the transit hub, a vicious cycle arose. RTD didn't want to build the transit hub without assurances that there would be more rooftops, and city officials didn't want to move forward with the area plan without assurances that there would be guaranteed mobility options. In stepped Conscience Bay and a coalition of community and business leaders to resuscitate the area plan before RTD permanently cut bus service in the area. The diverse coalition that Conscience Bay organized included Boulder's RTD representative, Better Boulder, the Chamber, and the Sierra Club. And thanks to that advocacy, City Council revived the long dormant area plan. And just weeks later, RTD announced its decision to restore bus service to Boulder Junction. In short, the plan worked. So it's hard to imagine an initiative with greater community impact than the collaborative efforts that saved RTD service at Boulder Junction. I can talk about Conscience Bay from the side that I work on. Since 2011, it has quietly led a climate-forward transformation across commercial real estate and where I work with them in the agricultural sectors in western Colorado. It has more than 1.5 million square feet of commercial space and over 200,000 acres of agricultural ground on the western slope, including the largest organic ranching operation in Colorado. Yeah. It's also a certified B Corporation, and I'll say in the last year has donated more than $500,000 to Boulder nonprofits, including Community Cycles, the Boulder Shelter for the Homeless, the Law and Business Schools at CU, and many more. You know, where I work with Conscience Bay on the western slope, it is single-handedly trying to solve the drought crisis in the Colorado River, which is a monumental task. But I admire their ambition, and I feel like sometimes the anchor of reality on what we're trying to do, but wherever it operates, it truly is a company with a conscience and is trying to do the right thing. And I credit most of that effort to its leader, Eli Feldman, who is a great friend of both John's and mine, and who I know to be a leader with grit and decency, who brings a great sense of humor as well to almost everything he does. So with that, I hope you'll welcome Eli to the stage to accept this award for Conscience Bay.
Thank you so much, Fritz. You've been a tremendous mentor for me and a gracious friend, and I've learned so much from you. And our water wars are really still just beginning, I'm afraid. Thank you to the Chamber for this recognition. You are truly building community through business. That tagline is true. Our business is a family business. Conscience Bay is family business, and our employees are part of that family. This is their honor as much as it is mine, and many of my colleagues are here tonight. Thank you for joining. I especially want to thank Ben Wolf, who is the co-founder of Conscience Bay. Ben and I have opposite strengths and weaknesses. And I always like to say that between me and him, we have exactly one whole brain. Thank you to Bill Rigler and Greenlight Strategies for running communications and coordination on the Boulder Junction efforts and for nominating us for this Impact Award, both of which were apparently 100% successful. And thank you to Mayor Brockett for his leadership on Boulder Junction, and to all the elected officials who are here tonight for their leadership in their respective ways. This is an award for having impact on our community, and it feels very real as I am struck by the deep connections that we have with the other honorees tonight and members of the audience. Danica Powell, we work with on a daily basis. We've been working together long enough to come up with far too many inside jokes about the colorful cast of characters who frequent our city council meetings, and I can't share any of those with you. We're lucky to have Perla here honored tonight, and we're proud supporters of I Have a Dream Foundation. They have a uniquely successful process for achieving equity and opportunity. Thanks, Perla. And we literally have 1 million connection points with the university. Most of Conscience Bay are alum from the university. 2 CBC partners, Daniel Eisenman, who's here, and Ben Wolf, are both adjunct professors at the business school and spend their evenings teaching the next generation of business leaders. We've endowed 2 scholarships at the graduate schools for law and business, where I graduated from the law school here. And collectively, our CBC employees, especially Aaron Barrett, Ben, and Daniel, and me, have served hundreds, if not thousands, of hours on boards and committees at the university, proudly. And we all do bleed black and gold, and it is an honor and pleasure to be honored tonight with Chancellor DeStefano. Thank you for your leadership, sir. At a time when anxiety over climate change and lots of other scary forces appear outside of our individual control, we at Conscience Bay take comfort in being part of a community, this community, and doing our part to make it better. Human connections, the ones I'm feeling very strongly right now in this room, are what give our lives purpose and meaning. On that point, there has never been a better time to thank the Chamber President, John Taylor, for introducing me and my wife to one another.
Yeah!
That is building community through business.
And families.
And we have multiplied. Twins came last year.
Woo!
Thanks, John, for setting that in motion. And I hope the twins become chamber members at the elite partner level when they start their own businesses.
I expect that.
Thank you to my wife, Lauren. You are a force for good everywhere you go, and the ultimate practitioner of kindness and human connection.
Yay.
Finally, I want to thank all of you who are here tonight, selling this thing out while there's a Coach Prime happy hour going on at Folsom Field, and season premiere of Ted Lasso. So that is love, and we feel it. And so on behalf of everyone at Conscience Bay Company, we give you our sincerest gratitude. Thank you so much for this recognition.
Yay. All right, our next award is the Virginia Patterson Business Leader of the Year Award. Now, just a little background. There are actually 2 Virginia Patterson Business Persons of the Year awards in this town. One of them is downtown Boulder, appropriately, because Virginia serves so admirably in downtown and has such an influence. But the history of our Virginia Patterson Award relates to many years ago when I was in another position in the community, was at this very award event, and Virginia Patterson was being recognized as the Business Leader of the Year. And she stood up at a time when the business community was being maligned and was facing some very difficult challenges in her older age, and spoke with a very clear voice that businesses need to stand proud and strong of their leadership in our community and all the benefits that they bring, and never to shrink from community discussion, to stand forward and be proud of their accomplishments and their contributions. And so the next honoree is somebody who I believe certainly epitomizes those qualities. And she is such a strong leader and such an amazing person who draws leaders around her that they are willing to fly in from out of state to come in and be a part of this celebration and to pay tribute to her friend. So to shock our honoree, we have Trish Thomas, a mentor for our honoree. She is principal and lead strategist with Akamai Strategy. Welcome to the stage, Trish.
Thanks, John. Really happy to be here. See a lot of friendly faces in the audience, too. It's good to be back in Boulder. Hi. I know, I lied. Boulder Junction, good segue. Macy's, CU South, the new CU Hotel and Convention Center, Boulder's proposed homeless day shelter. Each of these iconic projects shares one common thread. All have been made possible through the innovative and solution-based work of Trestle Strategy Group. Trestle is a woman-owned and led real estate strategy and planning firm specializing in customized and highly collaborative consulting for these really complex real estate and community building projects. But the firm's impact is far greater than that modest description might imply. Trestle has quietly played a role in almost every major land use decision in Boulder over the past decade. With a vision of facilitating stronger communities, Danica Powell founded Trestle in 2013. It's hard to believe. To serve a diverse and complex needs ranging from local governments, nonprofit organizations, educational institutions, and housing and commercial developers. Trestle's portfolio of projects, which now extends across the Front Range into the Western Slope, are modeling best practices and setting new standards in environmental sustainability, affordability, and transportation and mobility. Virginia Patterson, the inspiration for the Business Person of the Year award, was a powerful business leader who really urged our local businesses to champion vital contributions to the Boulder community with an emphasis on the greater good, from job creation to economic vitality initiatives and social causes and housing. For everyone who's worked with Danica, I think we all know her as a calming influence, a data-driven consultant. She's a smart urban planner. She's a problem solver, a loving mom, a very loyal friend, and above all, an advocate for strong and resilient communities. Over the years, and in addition, mind you, to running a very incredibly successful consulting firm, Danica's played an outsized role in giving back. She's the outgoing board chair for the I Have a Dream Foundation of Boulder County. She serves on the executive committee for the Sierra Club's Indian Peaks Group. She's co-chair of the Urban Land Institute's Boulder Regional Committee and board member for Flatiron's Habitat for Humanity and the Downtown Boulder Partnership. She is a busy, busy person. And yes, the recipient of this award should be a strong and successful business person, which Danica is, but they should also leave a positive mark on the Boulder community, and she checks that box as well. So please join me in welcoming to the stage the Virginia Patterson Business Leader of the Year, Danica Powell, founder of Trestle Strategy.
Well, that was a surprise. I texted Trish last night or the night before and said, I heard you're in town. Can we grab a drink? She's like, I'm not sure if I have time. Trish is my business partner. Like, she's been my business leader since 2013. So that was a total shock. I thought I had everything together, and then I lost it all. So I don't have a big speech. I don't have a lot of words of wisdom. I just want to say thank you. I love my community. I love what I do. This is what I do. I am so honored to be in the presence of all of you. So my speech is about thanks and gratitude. So try and keep it together. My dad, who's right there, is the inspiration for everything I do. He flew in tonight for this. He flew in a few days ago. He taught me about service, about being a volunteer, about being a developer, about compromise, how you can still care for the environment and still build.
And that was instilled in me at a very young age, and he has heart, brains, patience. And I think the biggest skill he taught me is I love a good crisis. Like, I love a travel crisis, a logistical crisis. Like, I can't do all of these things at once. And he was the guy that jumped out of the car when there was an accident on the 5 and just directed traffic and told me to drive, and I was 13. And, you know, it's like, he taught me how to get through a crisis, which I think helps me in my consulting world, because I'm not a therapist, but I'm a good crisis manager. I want to thank Stephanie, who is my stepmother, who's watching somewhere. I'm not sure. And she's she taught me a lot about service, being a volunteer, hospitality, being a good mom, and how to shop at Nordstrom and style. And I want to thank my husband, who drove over 100 miles an hour to get here tonight. He landed at 5:30 at DIA, and he made it. I didn't think he would. And he's a great partner, dad. My kids, are you still around? Up there, Westy, Lena? They're up there in the back row going, what's going on? This is the worst thing that ever happened to me. But this will only happen once, so I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for Uncle Jeff, who's probably nearby, balloon pilot, brother-in-law, steadfast uncle, and my friends who are still, I think, up there in the back row. Woohoo! They are my colleagues and friends. I work with them and get to play with them, and have been friends with them, most of them for over 20 years. I want to thank my nonprofit partners and friends, Dr. Perla Delgado, John Tayer, and others. Thank you for letting me on your board, be on your boards and serve you and partner with you. Clients, Conscious Bay, many others, Chancellor, thank you. I love working with you on CU South. And I want to thank those that have passed. Most importantly, Virginia Patterson. I don't know her. I learned about her tonight from her son, Bal. I'd like to learn more about her. I'm very honored to be part of the legacy that she was. My mom, who passed away about 6 years ago, and my grandparents, who taught me many of the things I have, and Miss Frances Draper, who was my mentor and neighbor and friend. And in the spirit of her, this is not practiced. I would like y'all to get your poop in a group, stand up, and I want to take a selfie.
Yay! Yes. Lights up. For those of you who know Danica, that was just a really mellow kind of speech, okay? But I just say, what an honor to honor you tonight. And then for our final award of the night, it is our most prestigious award. And it's named for Franny Reich, who was the 30-year chamber president. I don't intend to be here that long. I don't think anybody wants me here that long. But just to give you an example, Franny Reich was the person who is credited with building US 36. He's the person who's credited with bringing the laboratories to our community. And the person who is receiving this award tonight certainly stands in that same iconic stature in our community. And so when you think about the honoree who's being recognized tonight, of course you probably think, just like I do, of pasta. So a best friend or great friend of the honoree has a special recognition, and I think he's familiar to all of you as Pasta J.
Hey, Phil and Yvonne, congratulations. What a great honor this is for you tonight. It is with great honor and humility that I have been chosen to introduce Phil DeStefano as this year's recipient of the Franny Reich Lifetime Achievement Award, which recognizes an individual for their legacy, exemplary business achievement, and community impact. First, I would like to give a bit of history on Phil. Phil and Yvonne have lived in Boulder County for more than 40 years and have been married for more than 50 years. They have 3 daughters, Gia, Jennifer, and Nicole, and 2 grandchildren. He has been Chancellor of CU since May 5th, 2009. Before that, he was Provost and Executive Chancellor from 2000 to 2009. Phil started his tenure at CU in the fall of 1974 as Assistant Professor of Education. He received his bachelor's from Ohio State University, master's from West Virginia University, and a doctorate from Ohio State. From researching Phil's resume and his achievements and accomplishments, one realizes you have to have a great organization, and to have a great organization, you have to have a great leader. You have to have great leadership. Everything rises and falls on the strength of leadership. Under Phil's leadership at the university and involvement in the business community, here's a partial list of what has been accomplished. Everybody settle in now. He serves on the board of directors for the Boulder Community Health, serves on the board for the Boulder Valley School District Foundation for 10 years, served on the board for the Boulder Chamber of Commerce, led the UN's Climate Summit, which pulled not only the university, the Boulder business community, but the whole world into that discussion. Hosting the Conference on World Affairs, which has a huge financial impact and national recognition for the Boulder business community. Under Phil's leadership, CU is one of only 35 public research institutions in the Association of American Universities. CU is ranked in the top 10 in the nation for atomic molecular optical physics. Say that again. Environmental law, aerospace engineering, just to name a few, which brings revenue and national recognition to the city of Boulder. CU is the #1 public university recipient of the NASA research funding. Innovation and new endeavors are not unfamiliar under Phil's organization and leadership. With 175 innovations, 59 license and option agreements, 12 startups from CU Technology just in the 2021 academic year alone. CU Boulder has an economic impact of $3.3 billion on the state of Colorado just for the 2021 academic year alone. 65% of CU graduates stay and work in Colorado. Most recently, under Phil's leadership, the university, community, businesses, and the city of Boulder all coming together to get CU South Campus off the ground, a very community effort headed by Phil DeStefano. And most recently, hosting the Center for Leadership Seminar with Molly Brown as guest speaker. Also, the collaboration for the Center for Leadership and the Boulder CU Leadership Program partnership with DPP and the Chamber to mentor students by business organizations. Also, another on his resume is championing the new CU Conference Center at University on Broadway, which will have a huge financial impact on the Boulder business community. Also, Phil is very visible and very supportive of downtown businesses, not only retail, but also restaurants. He is a man about town. Also, a very visible support of all CU athletic events. The list goes on and on. But 2 important points that cannot be overlooked. As the saying goes, behind every successful driven man is an even greater driven successful woman supporting and committed to her man, and that is Yvonne. The second point, as Paul Ophelia said, the true measure of success is that your adult children wanting to hang out and to be with you. And anybody that knows the Stefano family sees just that. Oh, and on one last note, many of you probably don't know, Phil is a foodie, a culinary expert. His dish, the seafood Di Stefano, is the top seller at Pasta J's on Friday nights. Phil, your royalty check is in the mail. Congratulations to Phil and his family for this prestigious award. Thank you. And now, everybody, please rise. Let's give a standing ovation and welcome Chancellor Phil Di Stefano to the stage to receive this award.
Wow, that was great. Jay said it all about seafood Di Stefano. Friday night, if you don't have anything to do, it's right on the menu. So I want to thank Jay for that wonderful introduction. And Joe, I want to thank you, my friend. When you're in the White House, think about me. I might be a cabinet member in education or something like that. Again, and John, thank you, and thank the Chamber. But really, on a more serious note, I'm really humbled and honored to be named this year's recipient of the Franny Wright Lifetime Achievement Award. And it's been my greatest professional privilege to lead the University of Colorado Boulder. And it's been my greatest personal honor to be a member of the Boulder community and to raise, as Jay said, 3 wonderful children here with my wife, Yvonne. We moved here before Pearl Street was a pedestrian mall, and the years since, our family has cherished the restaurants, the shops, the art, and the natural beauty that define Boulder. And I'm really thankful to be joined by Yvonne and 2 of our daughters who are here this evening. Our 3rd daughter, our oldest, and our 2 grandchildren are watching the event on YouTube from Tempe, Arizona. And you know, I couldn't have predicted when we first moved to Boulder in 1974 how much the professional and the personal would interact and intersect and enrich each other. And it's really rare in higher education that a university leader has the chance to embed themselves in a community for decades and to deeply understand and to really appreciate the challenges and opportunities that emerge over many years of partnership. And I believe that our town-gown relationship is stronger today than perhaps it has ever been. And that's due to the commitment of many leaders and innovators who came before us and the efforts of so many of you in this room. And my deepest gratitude goes to the Boulder Chamber and to you, John, for your leadership. I also want to thank the broader Boulder community, the business community, for your partnership. And beyond our many business connections, CU and the broader community also come together to appreciate art and culture, watching captivating performances at the Colorado Shakespeare Festival, listening to inspirational speakers at Mackey Auditorium, and attending beautiful concerts at our College of Music. This collective support of arts and culture really make Boulder a more interesting and a fun place to live. And while an award like this often, compels us to think of the past, the truth is, let's think about the future. The Boulder Chamber and many of you supported, as Jay said, the CU Boulder South annexation agreement that was on the 2022 ballot. We're so glad to have cleared that hurdle and are now looking forward. And as we continue to look forward, as Jay said, you might have noticed that dirt is moving near Broadway and University, the site of our Limelight Conference Center and Hotel. And we're looking forward to providing much needed conference space and accommodations to the community while helping us to revitalize the University Hill area. And both CU Boulder South and the Conference Center projects required committed partnerships for over many years, and I'm confident that will bolster economic and cultural vitality in our town. As the university helps shape tomorrow's leaders, I'm also excited about the mentoring program that we've established that partners civic and business leaders with students yearning for guidance and wisdom. And this fall, we're launching an internship program with the City of Boulder and nonprofits to place our students in public and non-public sector roles. And of course, another way CU Boulder supports the Boulder economy is by filling Folsom Field. So, for the first time in my tenure, the spring football scrimmage for April 22nd will be televised on ESPN. And we're actually playing ourselves. I mean, that's the joke. And we're expecting a near sellout at the game. And we know that many businesses are eager to welcome a new generation of football fans to Boulder as we embark on a new era of CU football, and we're expecting sellouts. So, you know, for our business community, thank you so much. And please remember, and I want you to remember that you're welcoming all members of the CU community to Boulder in the spring and in the fall. And we talked a little bit about inclusiveness and diversity and equity. And keep that in mind, that we want to welcome all of our members of our CU community. And I'm deeply appreciative of all of your efforts to make Boulder the very special place that it is today and allowing me to play a part in this history. So thank you so much for this award, for helping me strengthen the bonds between the university and the community. And go Buffs!
Go Buffs! Woo! So isn't it the measure of a man who steps up here at the mic for a Lifetime Achievement Award, and he spends his time here telling us how he wants to support us through the work at the University of Colorado. So I bless you. You're an amazing person. Thank you, Phil. Okay, I imagine all of you need a drink. Okay, so we're going to be relatively quick. I'm just going to say this. What an amazing evening and the individuals that we had a chance to honor. So I won't go through the list, but just take one more breath and big round of applause for all our celebration of leadership honorees. I want to make sure to recognize the Dairy Arts Center. They put up with a lot of stuff when the Boulder Chamber comes in, and they do an amazing job. So thank you so much, the Dairy Center. Yeah, that's right. Give them applause. And then, of course, our sponsors, which, as you recognize, as you click that digital brochure, make sure to file through. Remember those folks. They're making us tick here at the Boulder Chamber through their support and investment. But let's make sure to thank our presenting sponsor, FNBO. Absolutely. Thank you, Gallagher and Sarah. And then also our community sponsors, Elevations Credit Union, Dennis Paul, thank you. And then, first in our heart, or maybe it's our stomach, just a special recognition to Nothing Bundt Cake for the delicious cake we're about to enjoy. So we're heading out to the lobby. Last bit of things, make sure to visit. Oh, just want to make sure everybody visit the tables. We have some of our vendors out there. They have great information, giveaways. Recognize them. Thank you all for being a part of our business community. We build community together through business. Thank you so much.
Without a warning, you took my heart, taking baby, torn it apart. Left me standing on a cry, saying your love for me was dying. Come on, baby.
Come on, baby.
Oh, baby, please.
Baby, please.
Begging you, baby.
Begging you, baby.
On my knees.
I'm on my knees.
Turn on your light.
Turn on that light.
Shine on me.
Shine on me.
Turn on your love light.
Turn on that light.
Shine on me.
Shine on me.
Hey, let it shine, let it shine. I get a little lonely.
Come on.
In the middle of the night.
You do not.
I need that sweet thing. Things all right. Well, come on, baby.
Come on, baby.
Oh, baby, please.
Baby, please.
I'm begging you, baby.
I'm begging you, baby.
On my knees.
I'm on my knees.
Turn on your light.
Turn on that light.
Shine on me.
Shine on me.
Turn on the love light.
Turn on that light.
Shine on me.
Shine on me.
Lord, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Without warning, took my heart, taking it, baby, torn it apart. Left me standing in the corner crying, saying your love for me was dying. Well, come on, baby.
Come on, baby. Say, baby, please.
Begging you, baby.
Begging you, baby.
On my knees.
I'm on my knees.
Turn on the light.
Turn on that light.
Shine on me.
Shine on me.
Turn on the love light.
Turn on that light.
Shine on me.
Shine on me.
Lord, let it. That was really fun. And great speakers, too.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was